That the Oscar-winning American actor Gene Hackman, along with his wife Betsy, have been found dead in their home in New Mexico in the United States. This is breaking news. Details are still scarce. Police are saying that this is currently an active investigation, but they don't believe that there was foul play as being a factor in the deaths of these two people. But it will be a shocking development that Gene Hackman, along with his wife Betsy, have been found dead at their home in Santa Fe in New Mexico. Now, Gene Hackman, of course, to all film lovers, will be very, very well known. He received 2 Oscars and 2 BAFTAs in his long career, which spanned decades. Among the awards, he won Best Oscar in 1972 for his role as Detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle in The French Connection. And he was, of course, had 4 Golden Globes and also a Screen Actors Guild Award. And just to restate the statement from Santa Fe County Sheriff in New Mexico, saying that we can confirm that both Gene Hackman and his wife were found deceased on Wednesday afternoon at their residence in Sunset Trail. They add that this is an active investigation. However, at this time, we do not believe that foul play was a factor. So, as my colleague Charlotte has been describing to us, a developing story. Details, Charlotte, very, very scarce at the moment. But just to reiterate what Santa Fe County Sheriff are saying, they're confirming that Gene Hackman and his wife were found deceased. But at the moment, it's an active investigation. But they do not believe that foul play was a factor.
No, they're not suspecting any foul play. They haven't given any causes of death for Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy. But obviously, as we've been saying, these are unusual circumstances for 2 people and their family dog to be found dead in their home at the same time. So, as you said, this is an active investigation, but there are no suspicious circumstances in terms of they're not looking for anybody else involved in this. Now, this has just broke in the last hour or so we're getting details as and when. It's a breaking story. We don't know too much at the moment. And you imagine the Santa Fe Police Department will be updating us as this investigation continues. But Gene Hackman, really, Kasia, had the most incredible career. He acted for 60 years, appeared in 100 films, won 2 Oscars, as you said, for The French Connection and Unforgiven, and also won a Golden Globe for The Royal Tenenbaums and won 2 BAFTA awards. And he played a real variety of roles, from the real heavyweight, serious roles to ones where he had fun with them and almost poked fun at himself. So The Royal Tenenbaums, which he won a Golden Globe for back in 2001, and also famously played Lex Luthor in the Superman films in the 1970s and 80s, and had a lot of fun playing this very over-the-top villain, the nemesis of Superman. A lot of people perhaps would have watched those films when they were growing up, and he hadn't actually acted in anything new since 2004. So over 20 years ago, he basically made the decision that he wanted to retire from acting, from that public life. He was never an actor, though, that you would see at all the different premieres and red carpet events. He was a very private person, and he did say, I trained to be an actor. I didn't train to be a star. I trained to play roles, not to deal with fame and agents and lawyers and the press. And he found it quite difficult to watch himself on screen. He said, it really cost me a lot emotionally to watch myself. I think of myself and I feel like I'm quite young. And then I look at this old man with the baggy chins and the tired eyes and the receding hairline and all that. So he was quite honest about aging and not particularly wanting to see himself aging on screen. But he was obviously a very much loved person as well. And we've talked about how a lot of people, particularly in Hollywood, will be waking up to this news, might not know this news yet. And you imagine that there's going to be tributes coming in thick and fast because he's worked with some of the greats. I mean, he won one of his Oscars in a Clint Eastwood film, for example. So we're imagining a lot of tributes coming in. But yeah, if you're just joining us, we've heard this very, very sad news this morning that Gene Hackman, who was 95 years old, has been found dead at his home with his wife Betsy and their dog in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And we're just getting a few details coming in because this is very recent. It's breaking news, and police are saying there are no suspicious circumstances, but they haven't given a cause of death as yet. I mean, this couple have been married for a very long time. They've been married since 1991. Betsy was significantly younger than Gene Hackman. She was 63, but they've been married a very long time, and they both moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico together 20 years ago and rarely seen out in public. We think the last time they were seen out in public, or at least the press saw them out in public, was last year when they were popping out for a coffee, because they were never a couple that courted the spotlight or particularly wanted the spotlight. And as I just said, Gene Hackman said, "Oh, I trained to be an actor, I didn't train to be a star." So really kind of the significant difference between those two things. He didn't want to be doing celebrity photo shoots, for example.
And he was really just so modest. You read that quote there, how it cost him a lot emotionally to watch himself on screen. But he was once, an incredible thing if you think about it, he was once described as having the face of a truck driver. But obviously we know him as one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, and an incredible breadth of range when it comes to the roles that he took upon himself, but arguably never took himself so seriously. Just for viewers just joining us, and I'm going to just repeat this news that we've broken within the past half an hour or so, that Gene Hackman has been found dead at his home along with his wife. And as Charlotte, my colleague who's been monitoring this for us for the past half an hour or so, along with a pet, a family dog. So police saying that they don't suspect foul play, but they don't know the cause of death at the moment. This is an active investigation at the moment, but it will come as a shock. He was 95. His wife, as Charlotte was saying, somewhat younger than him. But this developing story that we are just breaking to you here on BBC News, that Gene Hackman has been found deceased, known as one of Hollywood's greatest tough guys, 6 decades in his acting career, which brought many, over 100 film roles, but many accolades, 2 Academy Awards, 2 BAFTAs, 4 Golden Globes, a Screen Actors Guild Award. Of course, just within the past few days, we had the most recent Screen Actors Guild Awards, and we see these are the awards that are nominated and awarded by the industry themselves. So actors nominating actors, and we know how important these are. Gene Hackman receiving one of those awards. So, you know, this is a guy, a Hollywood acting gold, stardust in terms of his career. Born in California in 1930, and as Charlotte was mentioning, incredible story. At the age of 16, he lied about his age in order to enlist in the US Marine Corps, and then he spent nearly 5 years as a radio operator, then joining the theatre group in Pasadena, California, where he became best friends with Dustin Hoffman. I mean, how do you become best friends with Dustin Hoffman? That's the kind of gold dust that Gene Hackman had. Incredible, absolutely incredible.